Hello, Earth signs, and welcome to your April reading. So, things are going to be a little bit differently this month. Instead of doing the typical zodiac sign readings that I usually do for the beginning of the month, instead I did 4 element pick a pile readings. And so, this is so you are able to actually pick a pile in, you can pick a pile in each of the elements, or you can pick a pile in the element of your sun sign or your moon sign. If you're looking for a love reading, maybe you can pick an element for your Venus sign, right? And I just wanted to really open it up so that you as the viewer are able to actually, pick the message that really Spirit has for you. What we're looking at in this month of April is really, we're in Aries season, so it is all about taking action. And what we're doing this month is really allowing Spirit within each of these piles to really bring the heart of the matter that Spirit wants to discuss with you to the table. Okay, so we're looking at the heart of the matter, what is challenging that. That's, we're going to be pulling that within each of the piles. So a couple things though before we break off into these piles. It is, as I said, it is Aries season, so that it is a time to be taking action. There's a lot of movement happening. There's a lot of action, kind of being called out and really being put into play. The full moon in Libra did just pass on March 28th. So, that it was a big, beautiful full moon of finding balance. It certainly could have been bringing balance in relationships or creative endeavors to the surface, but absolutely a beautiful energy to be coming from in at the ending of March and coming into April. Now, April 12th, we have the new moon in Aries, and that is again about taking action. Okay, it's a big, and it's kind of funny. I do find it funny that April is like the energy of like spring and all of these new things are happening, and it's very much that kind of energy. I feel a lot of new things are coming to life, and that action is coming up. So we're going to take time now. There is 3 tarot decks for you to choose from today. We have the Light Seers Tarot, we have the Journey Home Tarot, and we have the Good Tarot. So just take a moment, pick which pile is really calling you, which one maybe you find the most resonation with. If you do feel drawn to more than one pile, please be sure to watch both piles, as you might find that Spirit has left messages in both of those piles for you. Okay, so I will see you at your reading. Welcome to your reading. So this is for April 2021 for the Earth signs. Maybe you're a Sun Earth or a Moon Earth. Who knows? Maybe you just have a lot of Earth in your chart. But anyway, welcome to this reading. So what we're going to start with here is we're going to pull some overall energies for the month of April that you may be coming across. And then with the tarot, we're going to really dive down into the heart of the matter that Spirit wants to discuss with you in this pile. Now, if you do feel drawn to watch more than one pile, I do recommend that you do, because Spirit's going to lay out different heart of the matters for each individual pile so that you're not bombarded within one reading, right? All right. Last shuffle here. So this is for pile 1 for the month of April. April 2021, the Earth signs, pile 1. What do you have for the month of April, Spirit, for the Earth signs, pile 1? We have action. Wow, look at that. Action being taken, and community. Okay, wow. For some of you, it could certainly be temple path, first chakra. Wow, and the door to romance. It's funny how often this door to romance has come out within all these different pick-a-piles, guys. It definitely has kind of surprised me, to say the least. Now, keep in mind, we are in the season of Aries, right? So it is the time to take action. It can oftentimes, and I did find it kind of funny that it's like the month of Aries and it's spring, and, that spring kind of love is always in the air. So I wonder if that has something to do with some of this door to romance energy that keeps coming out. So for overall energy here for the month, we have action, community, the temple path, first chakra, and door to romance. I feel like there is movement here, movement towards some sort of security, and a lot of it's going to be based off of this temple path energy. Even with community here, this can be like a soul tribe in which you're growing with. Maybe it's a new work opportunity, but I do feel like there's some sort of connection here, but through this connection, you know, your security and your own inner peace really comes to highlight here. Yes, we have the door to romance. Yes, we have community on both sides. Yes, there's action. But this one here to me is very important energies to be looking at for this month of April. Okay? Your temple path is your peace. It's where you find your sanctuary. It's where you find your balance. It's where you find your connection to your creator. You know, and our first chakra, I mean, that's our root chakra. And when we're discussing root chakra, like root chakras are developed when we're very young within age. And, you know, that is where we find our security. It's where we find our balance within life. You know, and oftentimes it's the root, like obviously the root of the matter, right? So when we're looking at growth within self, oftentimes we have to go back to that root chakra and really look at where we may still be holding some, I don't know, coping mechanisms, you know, even from childhood or just different survival kind of patterns, right? All right, so let's look at the heart of the matter here. It's beautiful overall energy here for the month of April. Pile 1, lots of action, lots of movement. Heart of the matter, spirit, that you want to talk with pile 1 here for the month of April. Heart of the matter here for pile 1. Where's the heart of the matter, spirit? Thank you. We have Ace of Cups, King of Cups, wow, and the King of Pentacles. Well, for some of you, there could certainly be two masculines, especially with that door to romance, right? We definitely could have two masculines for sure within play here. The Ace of Cups is about new opportunities. You know, there's some sort of new cup of opportunity. And as much as this can be talking about maybe two different kind of masculines within the situation, it's also talking about that masculine energy within side of self, right? I say it all the time within my readings, and when energies come up, I mean, it's not gender specific by any means. So when energies come up, we have to look at those and reflect those back to our life. And when it's the King of Cups and the King of Pentacles, you see, this is the action in which we're taking towards life. So maybe for some of you, it's someone taking action towards you. The King of Cups is somebody who connects here on emotional levels, you know. And before, I always used to say it's about, you know, going below and going beneath the surface, really connecting to emotion. But I mean that on such a different kind of level right now. You know, emotion is something that oftentimes we blanket over, right? We kind of just like barely skim it, and then we just kind of like shove it down into the closed parts. You see, in this King of Cups energy is one that is very open to heart. You know, they're very fluent with their emotions. They're very understanding in how those emotions even reflect back into their life. You know, and when we apply this energy back to ourselves, it's where we really must connect our emotions to how that reflects to the action within our life, how that reflects to that masculine energy within inside of ourselves. The King of Pentacles followed behind this. Now, this could certainly be a masculine earth sign of some sort, but again, when we're reflecting it back to ourselves, this masculine energy, the King of Pentacles is somebody who, I mean, look at that giant pentacle in his lap, right? He's somebody who understands that in order to get that abundance, to get that fulfillment or financial stability within his life, he has to actually take steps towards that purpose, that direction, right? That calling, you know. And the King of Pentacles, especially in an upright energy, is one that is very... is one that is like their action steps very much like they're connected. The kings are all about ultimate connection. Okay, that's kind of that like ultimate mastery kind of energy, right? The king is the master of the energy, right? And so that King of Pentacles is kind of that master of forward movement, right? That master of connecting tangible steps in life to purpose and to drive. And to forward movement. You see what I'm saying? You see, so the heart of the matter here for certainly could be, again, could certainly apply to romance, whether it's new opportunities, a King of Cups is coming in, or a King of Pentacles is coming in. Maybe it's, you know, somebody who embodies both of these qualities. But I do feel like there is, on a very self level here, what we're discussing is the opportunity at hand that is there for you to take action on, right? Something in which you really need to connect yourself here, you know, and it goes again, but beneath the surface level. connecting on such a deeper level to, and you know, there's no wrong emotion, right? Negative emotion or good emotion, like there's no wrong emotion. Even when you're feeling negative emotion, it's there for a reason. It's there to guide you, right? So that's that kind of King of Cups mastery energy, right? Understanding the emotions before you and then navigating yourself through those, right? And then therefore applying that to the action steps you're taking here with this King of Pentacles. Ace of Cups is really great. This is a really good start. All right. Let's see, though. What's challenging? Excuse me. What's challenging? Oh, my goodness. Excuse me. Isn't it funny that I ask what's challenging and instantly my throat chakra gets all closed up? Coincidence? I think not. All right. What's challenging the heart of this matter? What's challenging the heart of this matter here, Spirit? What's challenging the heart of this matter here for pile 1? The Five of Wands, the Eight of Wands, and the Magician. Well, absolutely. You know, in the Five of Wands energy, you know, what is challenging this forward movement, this connection to that deep level emotion and then how that applies into your tangible steps, right? You actually taking the opportunity that's presented to you. And I mean, the Ace of Cups could certainly be new romance. It can be, you know, new connections and workplace opportunities. I mean, Aces of Cups are gifts from Spirit that are emotionally going to excite you, bring you joy, bringing you happiness, you know? That's that Ace of Cups energy. But what's challenging this Ace of Cups energy and this forward movement and this connection, this mastery of your emotions here, is the leveling up. Five of Wands. You know, and the Five of Wands energy is very conflicting, okay? It is about growth. It is about doing that, like, level up process with inside of self. And it's challenging, okay? The Five of Wands is never an easy kind of energy to work yourself through because it tests your limits, it tests your knowledge, it makes you feel uncomfortable, it stretches you outside because that's how growth happens, right? We can't be comfortable in growth. Like growth is uncomfortable, right? And that's, you know, fear pushes us. Like even that challenge and that uncomfortable energy of fear, moving into the next phase, right? That's very much Five of Wands energy. But it's interesting because the Eight of Wands is right after that Five of Wands. You see, in the Eight of Wands is almost like the universe kind of coming together here and putting all these fireworks together. And it's almost, to me, sometimes, in order to actually do that leveling up process, it's like a spark has to be put underneath you, you know, and I feel like the universe here has really sparked this need for change. Something's kind of happened in which you were called to have to take the action. Maybe it's this Ace of Cups, you know, that was presented to you. And now all of a sudden, in order to actually accept the Ace of Cups comes this mastery of forward movement and emotional understanding, emotional balance, right? So it could be this universal kind of like, or divine kind of like, aha, here you go. This is yours. Now what are you going to do? And see, the energy here also that's challenging is the energy of the Magician. Here's another very powerful energy of mastery, right? A powerful energy of, you know, the Magician has all the power of all the suits. He has full power of the swords, the higher thinking and his intellect, right? Like he understands that from a mind capacity, he can control his reality. He has control and mastery over the cups, which is his emotions. He is able to connect to emotions. Again, no wrong emotion, connect to negative and positive emotions and allow those to guide him. He has the wands, which is that authenticity. It's that spark. It's that light within inside of self. He has control over that authenticity. It's not let out in ego. It's let out in passion, right? And almost like a channeled kind of passion, you know, not controlled, not tamed, but channeled in the direction of his unique light. You know, that's the energy that the Magician holds towards the wands. And then we have the Pentacles. And again, that Pentacles is that energy, you know, as a Magician energy, he holds the mastery key to being able to actually tangibly take what he wants in his life and bring it into physical, you know, physical properties. Right? So that energy of that Magician is challenging you because there is this level of mastery that needs to come here from all elements within you, right? The higher thinking, the emotions, the authenticity, right? And the forward movement, the tangible change, right? So it makes sense that spirit is sparking this kind of growth, that this challenge, this challenge and this growth is presented here to you because, I mean, we wouldn't just go out and practice the Magician energy if we weren't being actually like pushed into it a little bit, right? I think that's why Spirit sets, tower moments or divine storms up kind of, within our path. What in the recent past energy here, though, is supporting pile 1 within the heart of this matter? Look at that, the Wheel of Fortune. Absolutely. You see, the wheel has changed here for you, pile 1, and the universe set that in motion. Okay, the wheel is not the most consistent thing within life is change, right? And cycles will always move. Cycles will always change, and that is that energy of the wheel. And what supported you in the recent past is that the wheel was moving. There was movement. There was completion. Ends of cycles here with the world, right? The wheel moved and something was allowed and some sort of cycle came to a finish. And oftentimes those cycles come to a finish because we learn the emotional lesson that is attached to the situation, right? Crisis or certain things come up and we're faced with them. And until we actually learn the emotional lesson from that and apply it into our lives, we oftentimes continue to repeat those patterns and repeat those cycles. You see, in the world energy here is the completion. It's as though you've done the exam. You've completed it. Now, oftentimes we think. Okay, let's break it down here. When we're talking about cycles and patterns, those are survival patterns. Those are things that we build within our lifetime on ways to defend ourselves within life, within different situations and different aspects, right? So, we go through these survival patterns again and again and again and again, and they will present themselves throughout life in different forms. Those are things that we kind of, like, those survival patterns really speak to the truth of who we are, what we've been through. It does. It's not, they don't, they certainly have the tendency to be able to keep us in a victim mindset, but survival patterns are built off of victimization, okay? Things that do happen, bad circumstances that do happen to us, right? So the ending of this world here is where we acknowledge the survival pattern, that lesson of the survival pattern that we've been on. You see, and once you acknowledge and emotionally grow from that survival pattern, the wheel is able to shift. The universe is like, okay, well, you learned that, so let's move on to the next one. Oh, look at that, the 4 of Wands. Let's move on to the happiness. Let's move on. You get to kind of celebrate that joy. There's good things that come. There's celebration that kind of comes from that, right? When we complete that test, I'm kind of hearing, or that exam, right? And it's not that the universe sets out to test us, just that is what our purpose on earth is, right? Like, we've left the spiritual realm, heaven, or whatever you want to call that, whatever that looks like in your world, to come to earth in a human form to learn lessons, so that our soul could learn these lessons, right? So when we complete some form of emotional lesson within this life, yes, we do. There is celebration to be had after that. That can come in all sorts of forms and ways, right? All right, let's see. What is challenging you, pile 1? What was challenging you in the recent past? What has been challenging pile 1 from the recent past, Spirit? What has been challenging pile 1 here from the recent past? Wow, look at that. Death and rebirth. Isn't that interesting? Look at this. What is challenging you from the recent past? Okay, death and rebirth, which is fine. That's transformation. That's switching from one to the other. But check this out. The Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. The two freaking counterparts here. Look at this. Isn't that crazy? It's the same damn thing, except divine feminine energy. No way. Okay, so for some of you, this might not even be two. This could be a divine masculine counterpart, right? And maybe this divine masculine is reaching back out, or whatever the case may be. Maybe it's somebody new, but that's really interesting. That is very interesting that there is that complete duality here within that. But we're going to go back here to just, again, basing it off of self, because what is challenging you here, the heart of the matter is you actually taking that action, right? But what was challenging you in the recent past was the same damn thing, but in your divine feminine energy. And that divine feminine energy is that inward truth. Right? Again, here is this inward reflection connecting deeply to those emotions, and that Queen of Cups energy is very high priestess. She connects emotionally to she connects to her creator on such a divine level, that she is able, you know, this is where we connect to our intuition so that we can actually literally see beyond the veil. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Sorry. All right. Sorry. My dog knocked my light. Okay. So again, let's go back to here. So what was challenging you here was this death and rebirth, you know, and there was this need to really find, you know, find this. Oh, I'm hearing stillness. Wow. Interesting. Yeah, find this stillness within inside of self so that there could be this reflection done, especially with this Queen of Cups energy. Because the Queen of Cups, again, was connecting to the Creator on such an emotional, spiritual level. And she has, like, she is so much like the High Priestess, right? Being able to see, she has these, it's almost like just this, the queens in all of it are just, they have this ultimate creation power. Okay, they connect to their intuition and they connect to their divine guidance on such a real level. Like even this Queen of Pentacles, she holds this massive giant pentacle within her lap, right? So her abundance is still around her, but she knows that her abundance has come to her through her connection with her Creator, you know, through her connection to her purpose, through her connection to her light and to what her purpose, her guide has been, you know, what the Lord has guided her to do in both ways, and especially with this Queen of Cups energy before that Queen of Pentacles. And I love that it is these counterparts and that they came out in the exact same order. Because I feel what challenged you in the past was where it challenged you to really sit with your inner truth, sit with your inner light, you know, and there was that death and rebirth that needed to happen with inside of self, because your divine feminine energy really needed to speak for itself here, you know. The divine feminine energy here really needed to come to this understanding of what it needs on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, and then how that would actually look in the life around it. And then even like that divine feminine energy really created that kind of life here. You know, that was that death and rebirth. I think where it was like maybe lacking and missing in the past. Yes, it was challenging, but I do believe that it was what you did. You know, I do believe that it was this connection, especially like you had to have mastered this Queen of Pentacles energy to now be moving on to master the King of Pentacles and the King of Cups energy, right? Wow, that's so beautiful. What are you promising yourself, Pile 1, going forward for this month of August? Liberation. Wow, liberation. Look at that. Looking at the growth that you have done, you know, acknowledging all that you have done. Because when we really break in and tap in, especially to the King and the Queen of Cups, I just want to take a moment here and really point out the level that it takes to crack into these two, okay? To this kind of emotional understanding, right? Because as we have been talking, you know, no bad emotions. So when you crack in to that level of understanding on what your emotions actually mean, and then allow those emotions to actually become your guides to what you are tangibly putting into action here, you know, that is where this growth is done. Right? That's where this liberation within inside of self comes from, because you're no longer hiding from the emotions of your life. Now you're taking those emotions and actually looking at them. Yes, okay, at times it's going to be painful. Emotion certainly has that kind of pain. But again, pain is a teacher, right? Pain teaches you, pain guides you. You know, that's not always a nice thing to say. And I mean, we certainly must never put ourselves in painful, harmful ways, but pain will certainly be a guide to where you are still being asked to grow or asked to change things within your life, right? You see, and what you're promising yourself here is to move forward into that self-liberation energy. The Six of Wands, this is about stepping into the limelight, understanding the growth that you have had within inside of yourself, embracing this next this next level. Look here, the Victor's Wreath, right? And that torch is, that wand is on fire. And it doesn't, you know, we have to like, yes, okay, it's not even about, especially in the world that we live in, I mean, we want that instant gratification sometimes from social media and stuff like this, but that's not what the Six of Wands gratification is. This is about self-gratification. Okay, this is about that understanding and that wholesome kind of feel-good energy that just comes from knowing that you yourself are growing. Yeah, Six of Swords. That you yourself are transforming. You know, because transformation isn't easy and it certainly isn't beautiful. You know, and only we can understand the beauty in that journey and the beauty in that transformation. Certainly others can look at it and see, holy smokes, you've done a lot of transformation, or holy smokes, like good for you to be able to go through all that and to come out, you know, as this wholesome good individual on the other side, right? But only you actually know what it takes to go through that dark night of the soul. Only you know what it actually takes to actually go through that kind of growth and to go through these kind of rough waters, right? To liberate self. Only you really have that understanding of the emotions, you know, and not only the emotions. I mean, Six of Swords is certainly about the higher thinking, you know, but I mean, it's how we take that higher thinking and work with it through our emotions. We can't just go through life and think that, you know, we can think our way to positive, happy lives or to goodness. You know, we have to emotionally, we have to actually like use our emotions as that guide. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's very much what you're promising yourself this month, pile one. You are promising yourself this liberation within your growth. You know, so your actions are very much connected here now to your emotions on a bigger scale than what they have been in the past. You know. All right, Spirit, what is your advice here for pile one going forward? Wow, we have the Three of Swords, we have the Emperor. Advice for pile one going forward this month of April. We have the Hierophant and the Ace of Wands. Wow. You know, the Three of Swords is interesting because the Three of Swords, isn't it interesting how she's like, this depiction's so heartbreaking. You know, and she's tied. You can see that these heartstrings are wrapped tightly around her, but look, her arms aren't actually trapped. You know, she can pull those strings off. She can pull those tight vines, and you know, the Three of Swords is about looking at the pain that has really restricted you in your life and in your growth. Looking at the emotions that you have just buried, and again, pain being that teacher, being that guide, right? Looking at that pain, connecting to that pain, and then acknowledging how you are going to change that pain, how you are going to even just take control of it. And then how you put that control and that growth from that pain into forward movement, into new opportunities, into brand new beginnings, right? You know, and I feel like, yes, okay, the Three of Swords is here because, yes, okay, there is pain and there's heartache, you know. You don't have to come up with the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups to not have to, like, they don't come up if you're not dealing with emotional baggage, right? If you're not dealing with emotional heartache, of course they're here because, again, there's no wrong emotion. So negative emotion or positive emotion, like those emotions have to be dealt with. And this Three of Swords is where you just acknowledge maybe what you have deemed as negative emotion or whatever that is, and you take that mastery of it, right? You know, and a master is a beginner who has begun again and again and again, you know. And here's a new beginning. Here's a new understanding and a new spark, a new light to this higher version of self. And I love that the Hierophant came out after that Emperor energy, because the Emperor is about taking control, right? And that Hierophant is being like, okay, I've taken control over the situation, but I'm still holding myself to the higher light. I'm still holding myself to that like godlike energy within inside of self, right? To open myself up to new beginning, inspiring opportunities within my life. And those can be all sorts of different things. I mean, the Ace of Wands is about new beginnings, something new, something fiery happening within life. So it can certainly be romantically or within your career or job opportunities, all sorts of different things, right? Aces of Wands are new passions. Wow. Pile one, what a month, let me tell you. So if you do find resonation in any of my videos, I do want to point that out real quickly. Always be sure to drop a comment, a yellow heart or a sunflower emoji in the comment box at the end of every month. Actually, I'm going to do that today too. At the end of every month, I do a draw for a free personal reading. And any comment that has a yellow heart or a sunflower emoji, those are used as ballots to enter in that free that draw for the free reading at the end of the month. So I just wanted to point that out. Now, before we get into these Moonology cards, No, that's what I wanted to say before we get into those Moonology cards. Oh, goodness me. All right, this is the advice. Advice to go forward. Spirit, what do you have for pile 1 going forward this month? Don't let your past hold you back, the South Node. Absolutely. There's so much change before you here. Look at the bigger picture, the full moon in Sagittarius. Adjustments are required. Yep. Growth is going to be needed for sure. There's always going to, look at this. A new start is coming. Bottom of the deck. All right, so we have don't let your past hold you back, the South Node. Look at the bigger picture, the full moon in Sagittarius. Remember that we can only see such a small view of the bigger picture. You know, our souls are all here learning lifetimes of lessons, right? So there is such a bigger picture than what we can see. Adjustments are required, you know, and again, this comes, especially with these counterparts here, there is this adjustment with inside of self, this balancing and this self-liberation, this death and rebirth, right? These cycles that are coming to an end here. Adjustments are required, absolutely. A new romantic cycle is beginning. Well, isn't that interesting? A new romantic cycle is beginning. The end of a tough cycle approaches, full moon in Capricorn. Confidence is your key to success, the new moon in Leo. And conclusions are within reach, the full moon eclipse. Well, those were pretty interesting energies to finish that reading off there, pile 1. All right, guys. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. It certainly helps it get it circulated. Until next time, take great care of your beautiful soul. Bye now. Hello, pile 2. All right, you chose the Journey Home Tarot. We're going to start with the Energy Oracle, though. We're going to pull some overall energies here for the month of April. And then we're going to pull the tarot to really clarify the heart of the matter that Spirit really wants to discuss within this pile. As I did say, wow, look at that. The word of Spirit popped up here, actually. Came out in reverse. Now I'm going to put that back in there, but it's funny that that seemed to pop out when I opened this up to the conversation for Spirit. So what is really happening, what we're going to look at within this heart of the matter is really what Spirit's message is for you within this pile. If you do feel drawn to watch more than one pile, I do suggest that you do, as there could be obviously more than one you know, more than one issue here or more than one thing that Spirit wants to discuss with you. So be sure to keep yourself open to that. Now, what we're going to look at with the Energy Oracle here is just overall energies for the month of April. What are some overall energies here for pile 2? Earth signs pile 2 for the month of April. Thank you, Spirit. Wow. Okay. We have a man holding a heart and the angel of love. And we have a door to value. Interesting enough. Okay, we're going to get one more here. Oh, and the energy of walking away. Well, isn't that some interesting energy? We have happy family, adjacent possibilities, caring connections, deceit, 7th chakra on the bottom. All right, so for some of you, I mean, especially with the happy family and the adjacent possibilities, I mean, there could be all sorts of different things going on. We do have a man holding a heart here, which, I mean, certainly could be a masculine, not gender specific by any means, but masculine energy coming forward here. The angel of love to me is kind of like the energy of almost like Cupid, right? And it's that kind of, I mean, it is certainly the energy of romantic love, you know, that the energy of feeling romantic, but it is the energy of greater love for all things. Now, it certainly can be this masculine energy coming forward here to kind of like open up this door to love. It's interesting that those two kind of fell out together and the rest kind of came out on their own. We do have door to value. And I mean, the energy of this door to value is kind of opening ourselves up to abundance. You know, it's as though the doorway here is opening and abundance seems to like be pouring in from the other sides of the door. You know, and door to value is kind of like this. It can certainly be new opportunities that are presenting themselves to you. It can certainly be you know, things in which you value. I mean, it certainly doesn't have to be money or finances, but it can be certain, you know, certain opportunities, certain doorways that are opening. Isn't it interesting too, door to values and then adjacent possibilities Underneath that happy family at the bottom of the deck is all doors, right? I feel like there is a lot of opportunities and new opportunities opening up here. And that's why this walking away energy came up too. You know, because where we go through, in order to make space for new, we have to move out of the doorways of the old, right? You can't stand in a doorway and think that you're going to find movement. You either have to move one side or the other, right? So I do find that to be quite interesting. I do feel like there is going to have to be, walking away is about, and interesting enough, like she moves towards the daylight in this card. You know, she's walking, yes, she's walking from the security of, let's say, her garden on this side, but she's moving and walking towards the daylight. And this butterfly up here is actually transformed. Like it's a butterfly, but it's glowing like a firefly. You know, there's transformation. There's a change kind of set within the winds. And she's got this smile on her face. I feel like there's open opportunities. There's things definitely opening up before you here. But certainly, as I was saying, new beginnings take you making space for them, right? Something can only begin if there's space there. All right, so let's see. What is the heart of the matter, Spirit, that you want to discuss with pile 2? What is the heart of the matter, Spirit, that you would like to discuss with pile 2 today? Wow, Chariot. Yeah, see? Chariot and the Fool. Holy smokes. There is forward movement right now, you know, and especially this Chariot is about taking the reins. This deck is such an interesting deck to me, but look at here. We've got a peacock kind of like swan looking thing in the dragon here, you know, and this guy's got the reins to both, and he's taking control of his chariot here and moving his chariot actually in the direction that he wants to go. Here's the energy of the Fool. And can you see this here? Look at that. It's the same kind of squiggly trail down here too. You know, the heart of the matter here is you are taking the reins to this chariot and beginning something new. This Fool energy is going to be all sorts of different things, but it's about taking the leap of faith. You know, taking that, it can certainly be taking that dive into new relationships. It can certainly be new business opportunities, new spiritual ventures, new emotional healing understandings, right? Like it's all sorts of different things, but the chariot is about understanding that you are in the driver's seat, right? You are the one moving this forward into the next step, into the beginning of the Fool stage. All right, what's challenging the heart of this matter here? It's challenging this. Thank you. The Knight of Swords, the forward movement. Okay, what in the recent past was supporting the Earth Awakening, which is the Knight of Pentacles? What was challenging in the recent past? 7 of Cups, all the opportunities. Okay, what's pile 2 promising themselves going forward? 8 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords. Wow, and the Page of Cups. And what's Spirit's advice going forward this month? We have the Earth creating, which is the Queen of Pentacles. Interesting enough. Oh, wow. Okay, it's kind of surprising me, and on the bottom, wow. Okay, let's see. It kind of surprises me. So again, okay, so for the Spirit's advice, we have the Earth creating, which is the Queen of Pentacles. Then we have the Emperor energy. Then we have the Wave Awakening, which is the Knight of Cups. And then we have the Earth resolving, which is the King of Pentacles. So there we have the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles coming out here as the guidance for the month from Spirit. Holy smokes. All right, we're going to use the Wild Unknown here to clarify some of these. And we're going to start with the heart of the matter because I'd like to clarify this Chariot. What is this Chariot in the forward movement here, Spirit? Wow, Son of Pentacles in reverse clarifies the Chariot. You see, Son of Pentacles in reverse, which is interesting because here in the recent past, the Son of Pentacles was upright. Son of Pentacles in reverse is the energy of maybe being indecisive in the movement, in the change, in the necessary steps needed to go forward. You know, and when this is the heart of the matter, sometimes the Son of Pentacles is the energy where, you know, maybe we've been trying to go forward in a direction, we've been trying to take the steps, but there hasn't been any results, so we kind of just quit making steps. You know, the Son of Pentacles is very slow moving, but when it's in a distorted energy, sometimes that moving turns into no movement at all. You know, and instead of being fearful of change coming, we become so fearful that we freeze in our space. And that can very much be the Son of Pentacles energy. And here, when it's clarifying the Chariot, it's kind of saying, like, this is not the time to freeze. You know, this is not the time to freeze in fear. This is not the time to stop making forward movement. This is the time in which dedication and determination is needed to take control of the reins here, to move yourself into this phase of the Fool, because the Fool is very lighthearted, very childlike, not childish, but childlike, you know, and there's a huge difference there. Childlike is being very open to surprises and new opportunities, you know, childlike thinking, you know, it's that open-mindedness, that lightheartedness, you know, and I feel like in order for you to allow for this Fool process to begin, you have to at least steer your Chariot into that kind of childlike energy, which is not a fearful energy. And I feel that Page of Pentacles energy in reverse can be kind of one where fear is preventing you. Look at here, Four of Wands clarifies the Fool. You know, Four of Wands moving towards your happiness. You know, and yes, I know. I feel like that Son of Pentacles energy is just that kind of like that accountability needed, right? To be like, okay, you're the only one that can steer your Chariot here. Nobody else is going to steer your Chariot around like towards the direction that you want to go. You have to be the one who takes control of your Chariot here. You have to be the one who actually is brave enough to take that leap of faith that the Fool is taking, right? Because the Fool, as much as we call it the Fool, but the Fool is very brave. Okay, the Fool is, even in, it's interesting, but even in, you know, when the Fool or the Jester would have been in a royal setting, you know, oftentimes they had the ability to say things to a king or to a queen in which many others wouldn't have had the ability to say such things, you know, but they were able to say things in a way in which, you know, it may have come out kind of like as that Fool, you know, ideal, but there was so much truth behind it, you know, and this is to me like being brave enough to actually take that leap of faith, being brave enough to actually face the fear and do it anyway. You know, the Four of Wands is definitely about that happiness. It's about that joy. Oftentimes it can be talking about even soulmate relationships, you know, 1111. And that's certainly the energy of the Four of Wands, about celebration and joy and good things coming to be. But in order to have that kind of life, in order to kind of feel and experience that kind of, you know, happiness and joy and celebration, you have to be brave enough to take that leap of faith to go towards that life, right? Because anybody who's chased their dreams knows that their dreams aren't the first, you know, that's not usually the first thing that comes up. It takes a lot of courage to be able to chase those dreams, whether they're work opportunities or those romantic relationships, you know, like it takes a lot of faith and courage to continue to go after them, you know, and to continue even to steer your Chariot in the direction of them, you know, that lightheartedness, that childlike opportunities, right? Or childlike joy towards new opportunities. All right, so now what is challenging this heart of the matter? What is challenging here is the Knight of Swords. The Wind Awakening is what it's called here in this deck. And, you know, the Knight of Swords, it's funny because the Knight of Swords, he's fast moving. Okay, he can kind of be a little bit rash sometimes. That Knight of Swords energy, knights are all about forward movement. And the Knight of Swords is one who just kind of like can sometimes in a distorted energy can be very quick to just be like, well, either I'm going to cut it out or I'm just going to do it this way. And maybe not necessarily think all the steps through, right? So what could be really challenging you here is where you know you want to make the forward movement, but maybe you're rushing the process of the forward movement, or maybe you're overlooking some things. Let's clarify. Why is this Knight of Swords in the challenging position here? Daughter of Wands. That was a lot. How many do we got here? Daughter of Wands, Four of Cups, Father of Cups, Seven of Cups, and the Devil. Yeah. Okay, you see, what is challenging this Knight of Swords, where you're wanting challenges, yes, you're wanting the forward movement, okay? You understand that there's a new opportunity here for you. You understand that you're the one who, you know, can has the power here. You're the only one who can actually take control of the reins of the situation and steer your chariot, yes. But what is challenging you is the process that it's going to take, because you want that to happen now, right? And the Daughter of Wands, this Page of Wands, here it is, again, very childlike, learning new opportunities, being open to new things. The Page of Wands is about learning new patterns, you know, breaking our old survival patterns, breaking our old coping mechanisms in which we've gone forward in the past, and applying new emotional kind of behaviors, higher thinking, right? And again, growth isn't based off of higher positive thinking. Growth is based off of learning and building new emotional coping mechanisms so that we can actually navigate ourselves through our emotions, you know, using negative emotion and good emotion, and how those fit into our lives. You see, and here you're wanting this quick movement. What's challenging you, I feel, is you're wanting this quick movement. You mentally, you understand the change that needs to be put into place, but what still needs to happen here is learning the process of how that all goes together. Because understanding and mastering that kind of emotional, how do you say that? Mastering the emotional kind of understanding, even the emotional understanding. Yeah, I guess that's how you would say it. Mastering that emotional understanding within inside of yourself, because there's no wrong emotions. Okay. Don't ever let anybody tell you that there's wrong emotions. Emotions are there to guide you. Okay. Painful, good, negative, bad, happy, joy, whatever the case may be. Those emotions, you are feeling them so that they can guide you. What you need to do is, instead of burying them, understand what they are actually saying to you. Right? Understand how those emotions, what they are actually telling you. So when you feel a certain emotion, be like, okay, what does this actually mean? What does this emotion actually look like? You're wanting the change, but you haven't quite yet learned or mastered the emotional understanding that it's going to take to apply the change you want into your life. You're getting what I'm reading? Or getting what I'm putting down? There's a lot of new things before you. I feel like there's a lot of new opportunities before you. And in order for you to really connect to the opportunities that are going to actually serve you, in order for you to kick patterns of the past, it's going to take a little bit of time of learning the new steps, the new patterns, the new processes, the new coping mechanisms, right? The new emotional guide kind of here. I feel like it's almost like you're, you know, I feel like what can be challenging you is yes, you want this forward movement. Yes, you want all this new beginning, but that challenge still comes when it's sorting out how it all connects and how it all changes in your life, right? Change is exciting. Like when we go through growth, and I mean, step one is always the excitement, right? And that's kind of, I kind of feel like that's the energy that you're in. You're in this beginning exciting stage and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, new things are coming. But I mean, those old survival patterns are going to come up, because certain things are going, you know, that, I mean, that just, we can't, like, that's just how that works, right? Old survival patterns are going to come up once once things start changing a little bit, you know, once you're pressured or triggered a little bit, right? And so it's this need here to really actually do the actual healing process, not just kind of bandage it over and look past the healing that needs to go, but really I feel like what's really needed from you here right now, what can be challenging you, is that you just want this change and these new cycles to begin right now, but it takes time. Right? That's a process. Okay. So you see, what's supporting you in the recent past is the Son of Pentacles in the upright energy. That's that Knight of Pentacles in the upright energy. And I feel that you were dedicated here to the work in the forward movement. It was as though you understood that there needed to be change within your life. So you continued. You showed dedication, right? You showed perseverance. You showed resilience here to the steps and to the change needed within your life, so that you could, open yourself up to new opportunities for sure. Five of Wands. Yep, leveled yourself up. You know, you did the growth. You know, and the Five of Wands is very conflicting. It certainly is a very challenging kind of energy. You know, and it's growth within inside of ourselves that moves us from what we knew to the next phase. You know, when we go through those processes again and again and again, a true growing soul is one who is completely evolutionizing themselves repetitively. You know, they continue to grow. They continue to expand their knowledge within inside of self. That's the Five of Wands energy. And anybody who's been through growth understands that growth is not comfortable. In order for you to grow, you must actually embrace fear, because that's where growth is done, within the things that we're afraid to do, right? That's where that inspiration and those things that scare us, those are oftentimes the things that we need to pursue. You know, if it scares you, then that's where you need to be like, okay, well, why does this, like, instead of backing away from it, it should be intriguing you. You see what I'm saying? You see, and this Son of Pentacles energy was where there was this leveling up and this growth that was done with inside of you. And even if it was maybe scary, you consistently showed up. You've put in the steps, okay? You've put one foot in front of the other. And it certainly, I mean, as I just said, growth is not easy. So it certainly hasn't been easy, but it's something that you have been dedicated to, something that you've really persevered through. So give yourself a pat on the back, because that is something, like, that's something that has supported you. That growth and that commitment to this change with inside of self supported you. So good job. Okay. All right. But what was challenging you in the recent past here was all the opportunities, the Seven of Cups. And look, that came up in what this challenging of the heart of the matter. I feel like it could still even be something that's kind of like right at your face. And you know, the Seven of Cups, I mean, look at all the things that are in this guy's basket, right? He's got, you know, new opportunities, palm trees. He's got so much food. He's got a cup. You know, the Seven of Cups is about options, and it's about options in which, again, it's kind of interesting actually that we were already talking about, you know, the emotions and the negative emotions and the positive emotions, because that's kind of what the Seven of Cups is. It's like that navigation between all the emotions. Cups are different emotions. So in each cup, imagine that there's like a different object, like something different, and then connect emotions that fit with each of those objects, right? And the Seven of Cups as a challenging energy can be like, well, were you being guided and pulled more by the negative energies within these cups, or were you, you know, choosing cups and enjoying happiness in those cups? Sorry, I just got so distracted because it's snowing. It's snowing, guys. It's April 1st. Like, this has not been a very funny April Fool's Day, if you ask me. Where I live, they just put us back in the gray, so they locked us back down again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even. I can't even. Oh my. The star card. The star card. Okay. Clarify. Why was the Seven of Cups challenging in the recent past for pile 2? Wow. So the Star, the Three of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles. And the Three of Swords is about those pains, okay? That's about the heartache. That's about the emotional wounds that you have gone through here, and how that's affected you, especially because, you know, those pains, they linger. Like, I love the depiction of this, because I love how it's like the heartstrings all wrapped around this, you know. And there was answered prayers here, new beginnings. Aces are all about gifts from spirit, guys, and the Ace of Pentacles is a gift of new beginning, you know. And I feel like what was challenging you here is there was maybe new gifts and new opportunities, but in order for those gifts and those opportunities, you really had to navigate, again, those emotions. You know, again, no wrong emotion, but what those negative emotions were telling you and what those positive emotions were telling you. And I feel that there was a lot of pain. I feel like your heartstrings were all wrapped up around swords. So there was a lot of pain that needed to maybe be worked through in order to connect to the emotions, to therefore understand how those emotions were guiding you. And I feel like that could have been very challenging, or still is challenging. Now, what you're promising yourself, I love this, was the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles, the Five of Swords, and the Page of Cups, because there's growth to still be done, okay? And there's room for growth, okay? The Eight of Pentacles is like, you've done a lot of really good things. You're kind of taking that step back, looking at all that's being done, and then you're like, wow, okay, you know what, though? I can still actually expand. Like, there's still parts of me that I can, like, still continue to show up for and move more. My big dog just came and sat on my little dog. Oh my gosh, what a funny day this is. Okay, so we have this Eight of Pentacles. We have the Five of Swords. You know, and the Five of Swords, again, very much like the Five of Wands, confliction, challenging. Okay, but it's about communication. You know, and oftentimes we are our worst, like a survival pattern. You know, survival patterns are coping mechanisms that we grow or that we establish throughout our lifetime. Okay, but in a list of top 11 survival patterns, I think number like 9 is actually it's not number 9, but that doesn't matter. But one of the coping mechanisms is how does that go? Like constantly like negative, constantly a negative narrative or something like that. Like constantly like preaching out that negative talk, like that negative self-talk. You know what I mean? And that's that Five of Swords energy. Like it's that it's like that talk to self where you kind of like sabotage your own, like your own good luck or your own happiness or whatever before anybody else does. You know, and I feel like that's what's really, I feel like you got to work on that. And there could be communication too. I mean, the Five of Swords is definitely, I mean, it's certainly communication towards ourselves, but it definitely is how we communicate what we need to others as well, you know, and how we allow others to communicate back to us, how we communicate to the universe, right? What it is that we need and what it is that we're growing in our life. And with the Page of Cups here, like this is again opening self up to new emotional happiness, you know, and when you go through and you do the emotional kind of growth that is needed here to really look at, again, negative emotions and positive emotions and become real with how those guide you. You open yourself up to the Page of Cups because you're in this new beginner stage in which you are ready to experience emotions for how they are going to guide you. Right? Negative emotions aren't just negative, horrible emotions, but they're guides to point you in a different direction. They're kind of like the bumpers on a bowling alley, right? They kind of like negative emotions, you know, you feel them, you look at them, you understand why they're there, and then they kind of like push you back in the direction in which you need to go towards that happy emotion, right? Because that's ultimately what we're looking for. And that Page of Cups energy is that new kind of beginning, that new understanding, that new excitement, that wait a minute, emotions don't have to scare me. Right? Emotions of any kind can support me. Okay? Spirits, yeah, I wanted to clarify that Five of Swords, actually. Can we just clarify that? The Hanged Man in reverse, wow, and the Nine of Wands, look at that. You know, and the Hanged Man in reverse here is kind of the energy of, wow, I'm actually, that's interesting. I'm hearing, and I've never, it's almost, I'm very much hearing right now, like, this Hanged Man in reverse is because you feel like you've had to just kind of always be on your A game. You know, there wasn't the ability to step back here and just allow the divine to do what the divine needed to do. You know, and I, especially when that Nine of Wands kind of comes out behind it, like I almost feel like it's this energy where you have resisted the change needed and not, how do I put that? Like, it's like you were resistant against relying on spiritual understanding and spiritual trust, spiritual timing, whatever the case may be. You know, you resisted relying on the divine, you know? And I feel like it's because you were kind of like constantly fighting this never-ending battle of that Nine of Wands, because the Nine of Wands is very much like the wounded warrior energy. It's about exhaustion, right? You've come through the battles, you've learned the lesson, but you're in this energy and this state of exhaustion because of that. And oftentimes our negativity and our negativity towards ourself is what continually repeats those patterns within our own being, right? And I feel what you're promising to yourself here is that growth, very much so. And maybe this new understanding to how you are about to go forward and use your emotions as a tool to navigate you rather than something to trap you or chain you, right? Now, Spirit's advice here, we had the Queen of Pentacles, the Emperor, the Knight of Cups, and then the King of Pentacles. For some of you, this could be about a masculine making their way towards you, or maybe you are a masculine certainly not gender specific, but maybe you are in the masculine energy, making yourself towards your divine feminine counterpart here. You know, and there's this understanding. I feel like there's this like clarity, especially with that Emperor behind that Queen of Pentacles. Like there is this like, this is what I want. This is how I know I'm going to go about, you know, bringing my life into fruition. The Knight of Pentacles, or sorry, the Knight of Cups is about forward movement, some sort of cup of opportunity, cup of emotion, cup of love, whatever the case may be, is coming forward. And it just interests me that this Queen of Pentacles and this King of Pentacles are both here. Let's clarify this Emperor. Why is this Emperor here, Spirit? Yeah, Three of Cups, I think. Three of Cups and Mother of Pentacles. You know, for some of you, it could be the divine feminine energy here that's reaching out to something, but there is this connection. You know, this is a relationship for certainly for some of you, this is going to apply, but I do feel like this Emperor really knows that that Queen of Pentacles is his queen, is his counterpart, you know. The Three of Cups to me always, it's more so, you know, it's much more than just a romantic connection, because it's kind of like that got that spiritual connection and that spiritual intimacy to it, you know, where it's not just a romantic, sensual, sexual relationship, but it's something that's very spiritually intimate. Like there's connection on such a real kind of level here. Knight of Cups, let's clarify that. Knight of Cups, Two of Pentacles. Wow. Two of Pentacles clarifies that Knight of Cups. I feel like there's definitely, this is definitely a balanced opportunity coming forward here. And I do feel like the masculine energy here is very much stepping up into their power. For those of you who can apply this to a love reading, I do feel like there is this masculine energy that is stepping up. Yeah, ready to walk away from the unhappiness. And even if this is just your own energy and you're applying this back to yourself, right? Where your masculine energy is really ready to get on board with what your inner truth and your inner knowledge is actually telling you. You know, if there's passion projects or there's opportunities or new beginning, even emotional healing, right? Like your divine feminine energy is like, okay, like let's actually sit down with our emotions and navigate how these emotions are guiding us. And that masculine energy of self is like, okay, I will sit down with you, divine feminine energy. Now tell me, how do I apply this into what we are going to do in the rest of the world around us? And it's almost like that balance with inside of your own energy that comes to this understanding, right? Your divine feminine energy is like, okay, welcome to Emotions 101. And your masculine energy is like, great, I'm glad I'm here. Thanks for having me. Now teach me all your things, because I'm ready to go out and actually change the world. You know what I mean? And this is where you're really connecting to that power. You know, Spirit's advice to you right now is connect to that balance with inside of self, you know. And if this again applies to some sort of romantic relationship, like this is beautiful. This is a lovely relationship, but open yourself up to really navigate or use your emotions as navigational tools, right? All right, so we're going to pull some Moonology here just to get some last advice going forward. I see that I've kind of run over the time I was hoping to aim for, but whatever. If you did find resonation within this video, or you watch any of my other videos, at the end of every month, I do a free personal read. So if you are interested in being entered in that draw for that free personal reading, just in the comments section, all you have to do is comment a yellow heart or a sunflower emoji. And those comments with those emojis, they are used as ballots at the end of every month, okay? So if that's something you're interested in, please be sure to leave those emojis or a emoji, the yellow heart or the sunflower, in the comments. All right, so this is for pile 2. A win-win outcome is forecast, the full moon in Libra, and that's actually the full moon that we did just pass. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you so much. We're going to get one more. Thank you. Thank you. Look at that. A new romantic cycle begins at the bottom of the deck. That's interesting. Coincidence? I think not. All right. A win-win outcome is forecast. Full moon in Libra. This is the full moon that actually just passed by us on March the 28th. Don't let your past hold you back, right? Do not let your past be what chains you here. You are looking at your emotions, understanding that past is, you are not a victim to the past, right? Your past does not define you. Emotions are running high. The supermoon, absolutely. But don't be afraid of those emotions, right? If your emotions are running high, just allow yourself the time to sit with them so that you can actually like become acquainted with your emotions. That's a good start. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Okay, full moon in Capricorn, absolutely. The energy is gaining momentum here. Woo, the waning, oh, the waxing moon. Meditate and contemplate. New moon in Pisces. Wow. Beautiful energy. Okay, pile two, that was a lovely reading. Thank you so much for being here. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Certainly helps to get it circulated. Until next time, take great care of your beautiful soul. Bye now. Well, hello, pile three. Welcome to your reading. All right, so we are going to start with the energy oracle. We're going to pull overall energies for the month of April. And then we're going to get into the tarot. We're really going to dive in to what the heart of the matter is that Spirit wants to discuss within this pile with you. Now, if you do find that you are drawn to more than one pile, please be sure to check it out, as Spirit may have more than one message for you within the different piles, right? All right, last shuffle here. This is for pile three for the earth signs. Pile three for the earth signs. Pile three for the earth signs. What's the overall energy here? Thank you, Spirit. Interesting. Right away, the fifth chakra comes out. And that's funny because I got this tickle as soon as we started talking. Wow, the fifth chakra and the first chakra come out. Now, did I see something else flip over? No. Communication. Communication in the root chakra here. Overall energy. Wow. And the door to romance. I cannot. Indecision, door to value, magician in the mirror. Wow, I can't get over how much this door to romance has come out in all of these different readings throughout this month of April. And I think it's just because, like, I keep saying, you know, oh, maybe it's like spring is in the air, right? Everybody's got in for like that spring kind of love thing. But interesting enough, pile three, look at here, we have the communication in the root chakra, okay? Fifth chakra, first chakra, communication, throat chakra, how you're expressing your truth. You know, maybe you're dealing with somebody whose throat chakra is, maybe they're not expressing their truth. This is about expressing your truth in your security, in your rooted emotions, right? And door to romance coming out behind the two of them. Like, to me, this is kind of like, I'm feeling like there is definitely, for overall energy, like we're talking about how you're communicating that security, potentially within new romantic interests. You know, it certainly doesn't have to just be kept to new romantic interests, but kind of like, I feel like that overall energy is definitely like discussing the communication within, not only within your security, but within like the base, the root of what you maybe even need potentially romantically from a relationship, right? All right, so let's see. We're going to get into the heart of the matter here. We'll see what that is all about. The heart of the matter here that you want to discuss, Spirit, with pile three for the earth signs. One last shuffle. Pile three, earth signs. What is the heart of the matter here, Spirit, that you want to discuss? Thank you. Wow, 10 of fire. Holy smokes, 10 of fire, 10 of wands. You know, and the 10 of wands, when we're talking about the 10 of wands, we're discussing, you can see here she's burning. She's burning these things, right? We're talking about burdens. We're talking about things that have like really weighed heavy on you. And interesting enough, it's funny that this 10 of wands came out. In a journal entry that I actually did myself last night, I kind of had like this aha, this epiphany moment in which the 10 of wands I've always very much described as burdens that we are carrying. But oftentimes, you know, when you think of those burdens, you're like, okay, guilt, shame, you know, and those kind of things. But what if I suggested that those burdens are also survival patterns? They're also ways in which we have learned to cope to keep ourselves safe. Right? Maybe it has to do with keeping ourselves small, keeping ourselves stuck, you know, keeping ourselves kind of out of the limelight, keeping ourselves away from our fears, right? From sometimes even from new beginnings, right? What if those burdens we carried were those survival patterns that we continue to bring forward within situations? What if that is what we have to release here with that 10 of wands? Okay. just a food for thought. Hold on to that one, okay? So the heart of the matter here, Ten of Wands. What is challenging this heart of the matter here, Spirit? What is challenging? The Six of Air, absolutely, the transformation, right? What's challenging this Ten of Wands energy, these burdens and this heavy weightedness that you are feeling, is the transformation that is actually taking place within your life right now. What in the recent past is supporting pile 1 or pile 3? Wow, interesting. We have the Ace of Cups. Wow, there was a new opportunity. And the Page of Earth. Holy smokes. For some of you, that can certainly be talking about new romantic relationships that have maybe come to being. The Page of Earth is all about new beginnings, right? Pages are very childlike, and they're childlike because they have that childlike enthusiasm. They're very open to synchronicities, very open to surprises, very open to new, new opportunities, and that kind of like, childlike and childish are very different, right? Childlike is just very lighthearted, very free. Very free. The Ace of Cups here is a gift. That's a new emotional opportunity. That's a new gift here that has been given to you from the divine. Aces are all about gifts from the divine here. All right, what in the recent past was challenging you, pile 3? The Star. Wow, the answered prayer. Maybe you got your answered prayer and that's what was challenging you here. Wow, the Star, the Wheel, and the Patience. Okay. Wow, change, God's timing. Sometimes that's a bummer. What is pile 3 promising themselves this month? 7 of Cups. Okay, beautiful. Along with the Ace of Pentacles. New beginnings. Okay. And what is Spirit's advice for this month? Spirit, what is your advice here for this month? We have the Strength and we have the King of Swords. Beautiful. We have the Justice and we have the Queen of Cups. Wow, we have the Nine of Swords on the bottom of the deck here with the Ace of Fire behind that and the Two of Swords. I feel like there is maybe a lot of fear, a lot of worry, maybe some stress, some anxiety towards a new opportunity. I feel like there is a spark, something you are chasing. It could certainly have to do with this romantic connection. That Ace of Wands can be talking about that new relationship. Maybe for some of you, you have a lot of fears about maybe communicating the passion you have. I feel like there's been this blockage. There's been this stuckness. For some of you, maybe it's about wanting to take this relationship to the next step, make it something. And maybe not even, maybe for some of you, it's that higher commitment of a relationship. That's how I see you very much viewing this kind of relationship if you're applying it romantically. All right, what's this Ten of Wands? The heart of the matter here. Let's clarify this Ten of Wands. Why is this Ten of Wands the heart of the matter here for pile 3? Why is this Ten of Wands the heart of the matter here for pile 3? Why is the Ten of Wands? Thank you. 8 of Swords. Okay, well, there it is. It comes out just like that. You see, the 8 of Swords is the 8 of Swords is the energy of, it's being stuck in that victim narrative. Okay, where instead of acknowledging that, yes, you have been wounded, okay, yes, certain things have maybe gone against you, maybe you have been limited, made to feel small, whatever the case may be, but the energy of the 8 of Swords is where you define yourself by those wounds. Okay, where you define yourself and limit yourself by those beliefs and by that negative narrative. Okay, here the Ten of Wands, what you are releasing, the burdens and the heaviness and that you are carrying, is this narrative that you are limited by what has happened to you. Okay, again, that's not overlooking the victimization in which we go through. Okay, there are many stories of victimization on all levels, horrible, awful stories that happen every single day in this world. Absolutely, but the power and the, I don't even want to say, the power that comes with the growth from taking that victimization and turning it into your power. right? Turning it from I have been my wound to I have been wounded, right? And that change within that narrative greatly changes and removes the power from those who have victimized you back into your hands. You know what I'm saying? It changes the narrative, and it changes the narrative for yourself, because oftentimes we stick ourselves in these limiting beliefs and this limiting idea that we cannot get past whatever is stopping us. We can't get past that energy of being blocked. We can't get past that energy of stuckness, right? Of limitation, you know, and we oftentimes get in our own way. You know, if we feel stuck, if we're unable to move, that's guaranteed, because you're just not looking where you're standing in your way. Okay, you're avoiding you're avoiding the accountability of, well, okay, if I'm feeling stuck, it's because I'm clearly standing in my own way somewhere, right? And that's that Eight of Swords energy. So here, this heart of the matter is the burdens and the things that we need to release is our limitations. Again, that can be very much those survival patterns that I was talking about at first with that Ten of Wands, right? Where it's our survival patterns, like our coping mechanisms that we have developed throughout our lifetime that now hinder our forward movement, that now blanket us or cloak us with the inability or the fear to make movement. You know, we carry the heaviness, we carry the burdens, we carry the wounds because we are unable to actually remove ourselves from that idea that they still define us. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so here, what is challenging this heart of the matter was the Six of Swords, because there's movement. The universe is moving. The universe is moving you. Okay, so there is transformation. There is change here. And that change, that transformation that the universe has set you on, that this course of movement, this course of understanding and growth that the universe has set you on, it is challenging this limiting belief that you have held, right? That Six of Swords is challenging this growth. Look at that. Yes, Five of Wands. It's making you this Six of Swords, the challenge with the Five of Wands. Well, Five of Wands is about growth within inside of self. Five of Wands is about acknowledging that conflicting kind of energy within inside of self, that uncomfortable energy within inside of self, acknowledging where that sits within your life, and then really doing that introspection and moving yourself past the uncomfortable stage, doing the growth that comes with that uncomfortable energy. That's the energy of the Five of Wands. Five of Wands is very conflicting, okay? It's very challenging. It is a very uncomfortable energy, but that's when we feel that uncomfortable energy within our lives, that is our intuition, that is our guides, that's our emotions telling us, okay, we're not comfortable here because there has to be change. Something needs to happen, right? That's that Five of Wands. Clarifying the transformation. Heartache. There is heartache here. Absolutely. There is probably heartache and pains and swords. Look at this. Here's some more of those swords with your heartstrings all wrapped around them. You know, and oftentimes we bury our emotions because our heartstrings and our emotions get wrapped around painful daggers. And then instead of just pulling the daggers out so that we can heal the emotions, we just leave the daggers and everything in there. And we're like, oh, just don't touch that. Right? Just leave that there. Don't touch. Don't touch that. Right? Well, that's not what we're doing here. You see, the universe here is pushing you to actually address that pain within inside of self so that you can move yourself past here, because the Daughter of Cups was behind that. You see, in the Daughter of Cups, that Page of Cups is new beginning. And the new beginning here is how you actually look at your emotions. There is no such thing as a wrong emotion, right? Even when you have negative emotions, those negative emotions are here to be teachers. Okay? Pain is a teacher, right? So here, this growth within inside of self that needs to be done, this leveling up, this transformation, it's actually pushing you into this new understanding of how to use your emotions as a navigational tool rather than a brick that weighs you down or something that keeps you all tangled and painfully bound, right? There's happiness and fulfillment and abundance and joy for you when you can understand how to use your your emotional guide to navigate you to the life that you want. You know, when we're not afraid to actually look at our emotions, to understand our emotions for what they are actually talking about. And in order to do that, you're going to have to do this leveling up process, right? You're going to have to pull the swords out of the emotions that are all tangled up there. And then just allow yourself to heal that. Allow the transformation to take place. Again, you know, this heart of the matter goes back to that 10 of Wands. Removing yourself from the idea that you are just these wounds, okay? That you are just this emotional pain. Okay, removing yourself from that idea, releasing yourself from those survival patterns or from that survival pattern thinking that that's how it has to be. Okay, there's transformation happening here. What is supporting you in the recent past was the Ace of Cups and the Page of Pentacles. You know, and here is that Ace of Cups. Here is that joy. This is that cup of opportunity that was offered to you. For some of you, it could certainly be new love. And maybe it was something that you didn't even think you would be able to feel again. And yet the universe was like, here's some love. Yeah, look at that. The Empress and the Tower clarify that Ace of Cups. Yeah, I feel like there, for some of you, maybe it was a divine feminine energy that you were like, holy smokes, what a beautiful energy, or holy smokes, what an empowering energy. With the Tower coming out with this Empress energy, it was like there was the need to, there was this call and this want to build something new and beautiful and powerful and wonderful, right? The Empress energy is the energy of manifestations. It's the energy of divine growth, divine feminine love. I'm hearing, right? Where it's just like that. I want to nurture this. I want to grow this. I want to see this expand. You see, and the Tower came out behind it because in order for this beautiful tree to grow, the old structure had to come down. You see, there was parts of you that were still very much probably triggered by certain emotions that you had not yet healed or had not yet been ready to face, you know, and that's why this Tower needed to take, you know, and the Tower is divine storms. And until we actually like acknowledge a divine storm for what it is, that's just our Creator saying, hey, it's not working the way you're going. So you can't go that way. Okay. Here's the divine storm. Shit's going to fall apart, because until you actually emotionally change what's going on here, you're not going to get anywhere here. Okay. Page of Pentacles, though, came out. Page of Earth came out with that. And that is that new beginning within new cycles again. Look at that. The balance. Two of Pentacles. King of Swords, yeah, getting very clear on that, you see? And that makes sense to me, because I feel like that was what was supporting you in the recent past, was you knew that you were ready to open yourself up. Maybe for some of you, it was somebody that came in, maybe it hadn't been something that you thought you were, you know, romantically, you didn't think you were going to be open. And again, just not romantically, it can certainly just be a passion project of something, but something that you didn't actually emotionally feel you would be ready to open yourself up to. And yet it presented itself to you and sparked something. And sure enough, emotions began to kind of, you know, unfold. But the beginning cycle, in this beginning process, you needed balance, and you were sure, you knew you needed balance. Mindset, you know, the king of swords here, like that king is that divine masculine energy. And to me, that king of swords is like that higher, like swords are about higher thinking, right? So when the king of swords comes out here, this is like, you knew, head-wise, like on the head matter here, you knew exactly where you needed to be. You had clear thinking on like, okay, well, I need this kind of balance, right? In order for a cycle to actually begin, I need to have balance and understanding, right? It's not just going to be a head, like there can't just be head balance. It has to be head balance and emotional balance. You know, I feel like that is a big one here that came out in the recent past. What was challenging you, though, in the recent past here? The Star, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Patience. And I feel like things were changing. It's almost as though you knew prayers were being answered. The wheel was shifting, and yet Patience, that Temperance energy, that's learning again that balance of our fire and our emotions, our actions and our emotions. And again, using our emotions to actually navigate our actions, right? Being able to actually step back from our emotions and actually look at them as, again, navigational tools rather than just emotions, right? Clarify this Star. Can you clarify, why was the Star challenging to pile 3? Six of Swords, yep. because here you were connecting, you were saying your prayers, you were wishing on the star, you were doing what you thought you needed to be doing, and yet the transformation process was still taking place, right? And maybe for some of you it was very tiresome, okay? Maybe for some of you it was very exhausting. Maybe for some of you there was a lot of doubt of, are my prayers even being heard? You know, this transformation process is seemingly, you know, going forever. For others of you, you know, maybe, and I mean, we're definitely talking about challenging. So I definitely feel that, you know, that Six of Swords was just that challenge to like, are my prayers even being heard? Like, why am I constantly being tested here? Why am I constantly feeling like I'm, you know, going through this transformation stage, right? Why is the Wheel of Fortune here as a challenge? The World, yeah, see? The Wheel of Fortune clarified by the World because there were cycles that needed to end here, you know, and that was challenging because in order for these cycles to come to an end, you actually had to acknowledge them for exactly what they were. Look at the survival patterns for what they were. Look at, you know, your piece to that puzzle and acknowledge, okay, in order for me to finish out this cycle, I actually have to learn the emotional lesson attached to this cycle, right? And that takes patience, that takes time, that takes understanding, that takes balance, very much like this temperance energy, right? It takes that lesson, and those lessons don't always just happen. Yeah, self-liberation, Six of Wands, see? It takes that growth within inside of self, you know? And I do feel that that was challenging for you, Pile 3. I feel like this whole transformation, it's like you knew you were working towards that, but I just feel like it was a long, lengthy process that probably due to that long, lengthy process, you often questions yourself, is this actually really working itself out? I feel like it was just really hard to liberate yourself from the cycles completed. You know, I feel like it was really hard for you to be able to look back at all the transformation and the emotional understanding here from all that transformation and from that process and from that lesson, and actually liberate yourself to say, yes, I found balance, or yes, I found, you know, I found that kind of answer to that journey. Now, what you're promising yourself, I like this, was the Seven of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. You know, and the Seven of Cups is all about options and new things before you. And Cups, again, are about emotions. And I can't seem to get over that today, but emotions are our navigational tool belt. Okay, and it's almost as though she's looking at all these cups up here, and they're all full with all sorts of different things. Now, how to navigate yourself through life is to be able to look at the emotions that are associated with all these different cups and say, okay, well, what emotions am I willing to feel? You know, am I going to stay, is it a safe cup in which I don't actually, you know, I just feel safe and I feel secure? Or is it something that excites me, maybe scares me a little bit? Like, what are the emotions that are actually connected? Because again, there's no wrong emotion, right? Negative or positive emotions. Our emotions are here to guide us, to teach us, to redirect us, right? To keep us, you know, moving towards our purpose and our light. And see, and I feel that that is that Seven of Cups energy. It's about being really real with the emotions that are associated to the cups before you, to the options before you, right? And choosing that option, like the Ace of Pentacles is about brand new tangible beginnings, some opportunity. It certainly could be new relationships. It certainly can be new job opportunities, new passion projects, but it's something that is tangibly beginning here, something that you are actually growing within your hands, you know? And I feel what you're promising yourself here is those tangible beginnings are actually going to be things, one, that I hope and I pray scare you, right? I do. I hope that you are brave enough to go after the things that you are afraid to chase. Okay. Fear is a teacher. Fear is an encourager. Fear, you know, fear opens us up to actually go beyond what we would have before, you know, to go beyond our safety. Right. And I mean, I say safety, not in any actual like mortal real safety. You know, if your actual safety is that doesn't apply here. Safety is like that mindset of like, you know, well, if I go out and I start this new job and it fails, like I'm going to die. Okay, but I'm not going to die. Right? Like that's the kind of energy of safety I'm talking about. Certainly by no means am I applying that to abusive relationships by any means. Don't ever think that. Okay, let's see. Seven of Cups. Ten of Cups, Father of Cups, Ten of Swords, Three of Pentacles. Yeah, because that's what I was talking about with that Seven of Cups. Like, it's like looking at all the options before you and then navigating the emotions that go with those opportunities. Because the Ten of Cups and the Father of Cups, like, that's your happiness, but that's about being the master of your happiness. The King of Cups is somebody, like, he is the master of his emotions. Right? He acknowledges and emotions again on the big wide spectrum of things, and not just positive emotions. He's not just looking at positive emotions. He looks at all of his emotions and then applies those to his life and how they fit. You see, the Ten of Swords came out after that because you see this this Seven of Cups is where you can acknowledge all of the opportunities before you, apply the emotions that fit to them, and then be like, okay, this is what I want. This is the Ten of Swords that I'm going to cut out, because what the emotions that apply with that are not emotions that they're toxic, right? They're not emotions that I'm willing to go forward with and willing to actually, grow in my life. Three of Pentacles behind this, because you see what you're promising yourself is you're actually being real with the opportunities and the emotions that go with those opportunities before you. Right? If they're not actually going to support your growth in what you are building within your life and your new tangible beginnings, then they don't serve a purpose here, and you are a master of those emotions to acknowledge the growth needed. In order to actually be a master of our emotions, that means we actually have to hold ourselves accountable for the emotions before us. And that's a big thing to do. What's this Ace of Pentacles? Can you clarify this Ace of Pentacles for us? Thank you. Ace of Pentacles gets the Page of Wands. I love how many pages are coming out here, because it's this newness to self. In the Page of Wands, she's going out and she is not that Page of Wands energy is about to kick the crap out of those survival patterns that you continue to bring up, those coping mechanisms that have kept you stuck and small and repeating the same cycles of the past. That Page of Wands is somebody who goes out and they break those patterns. Okay, they don't go forward repeating those survival patterns of the past, especially with this Ace of Pentacles. They want a new tangible change. They acknowledge that, okay, well, if I want new tangible change, I can't repeat the patterns of the past. Okay, I can't repeat those old survival patterns that I've used again and again and again, because they bring me those same results. So that's emotional. If you're repeating survival patterns in the same form repetitively, it's because you actually haven't learned the emotional lesson attached to that survival pattern. You see what I'm saying? Okay, and that's a Daughter of Wands. Okay, you're promising yourself that this new beginning is something that you're actually going to start new patterns with. Okay, start new emotional kind of understanding, right? You're going to navigate this one differently, because you're actually going to get real with yourself and real with what you're feeling. You're not going to just bury those emotions and think, well, you guys don't have a place to talk here. No, you're going to sit down with your emotions and you're going to say, hey guys, so what's your take on this? Because you guys are the ones who kind of know what's up, right? All right, so Spirit's advice here for this month, and I loved this, the Strength card. Okay, this is about that strength comes from the resilience within inside of self, the bravery that comes from actually being able to sit with your emotions and look at them for what they are. Okay, the King of Swords here, I mean, that's about this is higher thinking, this is clear thinking. Right? And that clear thinking, I mean, that King of Swords, he's somebody who has seen it all. He definitely has that, that kind of head healing mentality for sure. But he's somebody who acknowledges that he is in control of the reality in which he creates within his thinking. Okay, does that make sense? Right? Like that King of Swords is like, okay, certainly not everything can be fixed by positive higher thinking. I'm not saying that, but that King of Swords, he is the master of that clear thinking. He is that master of that higher thinking. Okay, because I mean, it's certainly not the only thing, but we do certainly need to have higher, clear thinking, and that's that energy of this King of Swords, because he acknowledges the clear thinking comes from acknowledging that strength comes from bravely looking at your emotions, not being afraid to actually tap into those emotions, right? That strength comes from spiritual reliance and spiritual understanding. Justice behind the King of Swords. Here's balance. Here's truth. Okay. Here's liberation of self. And I love that the Queen of Cups came after that again, because here is that connecting to that divine feminine energy within inside of self. And the one that is connected to what? Our emotions. Have you noticed that's kind of been a theme to this today? Yeah. because that Queen of Cups, that Queen of, you know, that's that divine feminine energy within inside of self, that inner truth within inside of self that is saying, here, kid, welcome to the table. These are your emotions, you know. This is how they're going to guide you, you know. And that Queen of Cups energy is one who like can look at the emotions and then understand and see beyond just the veil of the emotion and understand what those emotions actually mean in the rest of her life and how they are going to apply, how they are asking for change, how they are calling and seeking, you know, direction and movement. Right? Does that make sense? Wow. You know, I do feel like Spirit's advice here for you is just to feel, if you feel the fear, feel it and follow it anyway. You know, if you're afraid to actually sit with those emotions, sit with them anyway, right? Don't be afraid of what they are about to tell you. You know, sometimes it can be a little bit of a shock to the system, but don't let that fear of what those emotions are telling you be what stops you from actually sitting with them. Because once you sit with them, they're just going to redirect you. You know, they're going to actually align you to your light, align you to that happiness, align you to that purpose, right? All right, so to finish this out, we're going to pull some Moonologies, and this is just advice going forward for this month, guys. I do want to really quickly just say, if you do find resonation within this video or any of my videos, please be sure to drop a yellow heart or sunflower emoji in the comment box. At the end of every month, I do a free personal read. And so the comments that have yellow hearts or sunflower emojis, those are all entered as ballots for that free personal reading. So if you do find resonation within the message and you are interested in a free personal reading, be sure to hit the comment section up, okay? All right, so let's see. We have a time for healing with the balsamic moon. Wow. You and your loved ones are safe. The new moon in Cancer. Expect powerful change. Absolutely. Nothing will come of this situation, the void of course moon. And I love this energy. I'm just going to quickly pause here so that we can actually discuss this void of course so you're not freaking out. So the void of course, nothing will come of this situation. Between every moon phase, when a moon is cycling between the zodiac signs, like in a 28-day span, it goes through all 12 zodiac signs. And when it goes from one zodiac sign to a next, there is a void of course right in between where it's no longer influenced by the zodiac sign that it's leaving, and it's no longer influenced by the zodiac sign that it's going into. Okay, it's just void of course, completely uninfluenced. That is what the nothing of this situation, or nothing is going to come of this situation, is, because it's about removing yourself from any influence and just allowing yourself to be in the void of course, allowing the divine to take hold of the situation in order for the divine to actually bring to fruition what needs to be, right? If you're holding tightly to something, then nothing's going to come of that situation. You're going to ruin it by holding tightly to it. You know, in order for something to come to you, you have to allow the divine to bring it to you in the manner that the divine wants it to come to you. Okay. And therefore you have to release your control over it. You cannot be influencing that direction or that course by your own energy or whatever, right? A new start is coming here. Love it. New moon. And hold your vision. Okay? Hold your vision, the fixed moon. Wow. Beautiful energies there for this month of April Pile 3. What a lovely reading. I've absolutely enjoyed this. Until next time, if you did find resonation or you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. It certainly helps it get it circulated. Until next time, guys, take great care of your beautiful souls.